We've got the BMW X5.
And this, in my opinion, if you're looking for a 5-passenger mid-size luxury SUV, is pretty hard to beat, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you to Portfolio Open Road for lending us this vehicle. Let's get in and take it for a drive.
Andrea, do you remember the very first SUV that we bought?
I do. It was an X5.
It was a 2005. We got it brand new. It had that new car smell. Under the hood, though, was a 4-liter V8 gas-sucking beast.
Yeah, I loved it.
It loved gasoline.
Yeah.
What's under the hood of this thing?
It's a turbocharged 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 335 horsepower, 330 pound-feet of torque, and it's got a touch of electrification, a 48-volt mild hybrid system.
Yeah, this is the trend in the auto industry. They use the 48-volt system to turn the engine off more often. So it's basically enhanced start-stop.
That's right.
It allows the engine to switch off more often and restart quicker because of that 48-volt system. But here's one thing about BMW inline 6-cylinder engines.
Yeah.
They're masterpieces, first of all, and they underrate the power on these cars.
Yeah.
They say it's 335 horsepower. Not a chance. It's got more than that.
No, and it is just a terrific engine.
I had a chance to drive pretty much back to back. This was a few years ago. This new X5 was about 2 summers ago, and then the Porsche Cayenne, it also has 335 horsepower.
Yeah.
No, this has more power.
I like the Porsche Cayenne.
I do too.
I enjoy the drive of that. I think the horsepower is good, but I can see what you mean when you accelerate with this. It seems quicker.
This engine, the inline 6-cylinder engine that is turbocharged, that they use throughout their model range, is one of the best engines ever made, full stop. It does a fantastic job.
Yes. Shall we get into key standard features of the X5?
Oh, I think we should, Andrew, because you said we should.
The BMW X5 comes standard with a 12.3-inch digital gauge display, a 12.3-inch touchscreen with BMW's iDrive, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, heated front perforated leather sport seats, leather sport heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, driver memory seats, power-operated liftgate and tailgate combination, LED headlights, taillights and fog lights, and 20-inch wheels.
I see here it has Comfort, Sport, Eco Adaptive, and S. What does S stand for?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit the notification bell, it really supports the channel. You'll be notified when the videos drop, and then you can watch them.
We're getting a lot of feedback, Andrea, on what?
Oh, and the elves. I mean, the elves are really coming through. They're doing their job.
So if you hit subscribe and the notification bell right after each other, elves will wake up every morning and clean your car. They guarantee it. And while you're at it, go to Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get great pictures like this. And subscribe. And also Motormouth_Auto for me. There's no pictures of me because you don't want to see that. And if you miss that, the links are below. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
Listen to that engine, Zach.
I know, it's a great engine.
Listen to that engine.
And we've got it in subscribe. Put it in sport. You'll
Whoa,
really hear it.
Oh, look at. We're going now.
All right. When the X5 came out, our X5, the one we had years ago, I didn't like it.
No, Zach hated it.
And because it drove like an Apple cart. It was like crash, bang, boom.
It was fabulous.
And listen though, you were in the minority because as time went by and each generation, BMW learned something valuable. It can look rugged and trucky, but it needs to drive more like a luxury utility vehicle.
Sure.
And that's where we've landed now.
Yeah, and you can feel the difference for sure. It's night and day.
Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah.
I really think that this is one of the best vehicles in this class. Now, what about the way it looks? It looks like a BMW.
It looks like a BMW. You've got this black kidney grille in the front. That'll cost you $250.
That's cheap.
It does not come standard. And then we have the M Sport package on this. So we've got the black roof rails. We also have some black accents throughout the exterior. I think it looks really sharp and sporty looking. The one we're test driving comes with 20-inch wheels, but you can get 21 and 22-inch wheels.
Yeah, 20-inch wheels are standard. I like that. Over at Porsche, it's 19-inch wheels.
I know.
So I like the look of this. I think that they have modified it and made it look a really nice, cohesive look. I like the exhaust finishers on this. Now, the clamshell tailgate at the back, when we had our X5, Jack was a baby. Actually, we had 2 kids.
Yes.
And you know what we used that for, Andrea?
How many poopy diapers did we change on that? And even with the dog couldn't run away. It's just so convenient. It was different for us back then. You had to do it manually. Now,
yeah, you have to change diapers manually. So the thing is, it was the perfect diaper change table. It really was.
Yes, yeah, clean surface.
Yeah. All right. So if you have kids, consider it. Now it's all, as Andrea mentioned, electronically controlled. And
so easy.
And a huge cargo area. And when you lift up the floor, there's no spare tire, Andrea.
No.
But you get extra storage.
Yeah, we're dealing with run flat tires on this. And I'm not a huge fan of run flat tires myself. You can get into a bind when you're outside of the city, but that's what BMW offers.
All right, inside. I've criticized BMW in the past for not evolving their interiors enough compared to, like we had the Audi Q7 with all the screens, and the Mercedes Benz, the GLE, it's got the fancy looking MBUX system.
Yes.
But this one wins for functionality.
I think it wins for functionality, but it's also very clean and modern looking. I actually think they've done a nice job. It's not over-styled with the interior. Some people think that the GLE, there's just too much pizzazz in it. I really like the Q7 a lot. I like the touch screen in there, and I really enjoyed the Porsche Cayenne interior too. I think BMW's done a nice job with this center console. We have an enhanced package in here, so that's $9,000. It comes with some extra features than what you get on the standard base model.
So you can't make up your mind. You want a Cayenne, you want a GLE, you want an X5. Portfolio, they're your go-to here in the Vancouver area. So this car has been lent to us from Open Road's Portfolio program. So you sign up, you can get a new car every week.
Brilliant.
Or twice a month.
Yes.
Now, it's not inexpensive, but for someone like a realtor who's running it through their business, have at it. You can have each one of those different cars.
And someone like a realtor who's probably leasing their vehicles anyway. I mean, the leasing
price isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And the insurance is included. All right, enough about that. Now, I want to talk about this white interior. I'd pump the brakes on that, but these screens, what size are we getting?
You get a 12.3-inch touchscreen with the iDrive software system, so you can use the touchscreen or you can use the center console to control everything, and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. I think it looks great in here. Big screens, I'm a big fan. They are showstoppers when it comes to the interior.
All right, so the white seats. I think this looks fantastic on camera.
Me too.
I think it's a real showstopper. It really suits this car, but I would never get it because this car is pretty much brand new, and you can already see the dark denim transfer.
The denim.
Yeah, and it gets on the seat. So it's like it. I love it. I think it looks great. Just be careful if you wear jeans a lot.
Yeah.
It can transfer onto the seats.
This is a beautiful ivory white color, and
well, what color would you pick?
What would I pick?
Yeah, what interior color?
I'll tell you, it would have to be black because that's all you'll go for.
Don't be like that, Andrea.
Be honest.
Don't be like that. I would go for a...
You always want black. You won't go for cognac. You won't go for brown. You won't go for ivory. In the end, every car that we get is black. Except not a black exterior. That's a no-go too.
Yeah, can't have black.
I only won one time with a black exterior on our Audi A7. And
I
for
said
the
to Andrea,
time that we
who
had
washes it? Who washes it? Me.
He does.
It was always dirty. The black car is clean for 30 minutes.
It is true. It is true. But it looks so good when it's clean.
Now we have a white car with a black interior. I'm happy. All right, Andrea, time to stop and have some coffee.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Given that the Cayenne has a higher resale value but is more expensive, is it worth getting the base Cayenne versus the X5? Dollars in, dollars out, as Zach says.
I do say that.
You do.
It's all about the dollars in, dollars out. What are you going to get for it at the end of your lease or owning it or whatever?
Totally.
I wouldn't worry about it in this case.
No.
Because BMW, a lot of people aren't aware of this, kind of artificially keeps their what's called residual values high. So in a 3-year lease, it's probably around 60%. In a 4-year lease, it's just over 50%. They kind of guarantee those residual values. So the reason they do that, it keeps the monthly lease payments low.
Yep.
So don't worry about it too much. BMW is fantastic at keeping their leases low and putting the golden handcuffs on, Andrea. What's that? Getting you to come back.
Getting you to come back. I mean, we've done that a few times with BMWs. We had a 7 Series, we had an X5, and both were fine at the end of the lease.
Yeah.
How does this drive and handle compared to the MDX and GV80? Well, perfect timing for us because we just did the MDX. And it is different. The MDX sits lower. It feels more like a larger sedan, that sort of a feel. This one is kind of a cross between the two. It has a utility feel, also feels like a car. It reminds me a lot of the Porsche Cayenne.
It is a very nice balance. I actually was driving here, I was thinking about it, and it gives you a little bit of that bouncy kind of trucky feel, but it's very refined at the same time.
Very much so. Between this and the MDX you're doing, which would you rather have parked in your driveway? Given some of BMW's design choices recently, I'm happy to see that they're staying a bit more traditional with the X5. If you're talking about the big grills that are coming out, yes, I actually like this grill. It's not as overstyled as some of the others.
By the way, we get Miss Piggy in 2 weeks.
Yes.
We get the new 4 Series with the snout in 2 weeks.
So I like this, but actually BMW says that that's what their buyers want. The bigger, the better when it comes to the grills. Now, for me, which one would I like to have in my driveway? Well, the price point is so different. Also, if I need a true 7-seater, I'm going to go with the MDX over this X5 for sure.
You can get a third row in this, but that's prison back there. You don't want to put your
It's
kids
not
in.
great. It's a pinch for little kids.
It's good for the mother-in-law,
yes.
not good for the kids.
And it's going to cost you $2,100.
I went right over your head, Andrea.
What did you say? Good for the mother-in-law?
It's good for the mother-in-law.
My mom will not be impressed with that. You're going to be in big trouble,
Monica,
mister.
lots of love for you.
Big trouble.
I wouldn't put you back there.
So just to, I don't know if you heard me because Zach interrupted me, but it's $2,100 for the third row. Would you recommend leasing based on reliability? I think that leasing is a great option because it's kind of like a 3 or 4 year test run. If you have any trouble, you can just give it back.
That's my line.
I know.
Yeah, I call it the 3 or 4 year test drive. It's true. You know, if the car's being great, you've had no issues with it, you love it, maybe keep it. And BMW has 3 years included maintenance in Canada, so like a 3-year lease is a good way to go. Everything's included. At the end of that, you can decide if you want to keep it or not.
Fantastic.
That's it? All right, Monica. Honestly, I wouldn't put you in the third row. That's it for this week.
Get in trouble.
I don't want to stop the cabbage rolls and the freshly baked bread and the cookies from arriving at the house.
He gets so much from his mother-in-law. He's a lucky guy.
All right. If you want to follow Andrea on Instagram, you need to get a question through. It's Motormouth_Andrea. And because you hear the music, that means it's time for nightlife. Oh, that gag never gets old, Andrea. You put the seat heater on for me.
I know.
I'll put yours on. There you go.
I love it.
All right, what's to come?
Okay, so we've got a hot topic coming up, but first, let's get into the competition.
For your consideration, 4 categories and 4 vehicles for you to consider.
We've chosen 4 main competitors in this category. The first one is the Porsche Cayenne. It has a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine with 335 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. It starts at $77,500.
Of course, there's the Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. It too has a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder with EQ boost. That's electric boost. It has 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque with a starting price of $77,500.
Our third competitor is the Audi Q7. It has a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine with 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It has a starting price of $72,450.
And we're throwing in the Genesis GV80 with the 3.5-liter turbo V6 engine. It has 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque with a starting price for that engine of $80,000. So there are 4 vehicles for you to consider. So in each review, we take a couple of questions from Questions, Coffee, and Cars and expand on them. They're called the Hot Topic. Andrea, what do we have?
Is the BMW X5 still competitive enough to stay with the GLE and Porsche Cayenne? How do they drive in comparison? And our second one is, Zach told me during the live stream that he'd take this over a Cayenne. Is that still the case, or would he now take the Cayenne? They are both incredibly dynamic driving experiences. Tough choice.
Okay, Andrea, here's why.
Sounds so good.
This engine.
I know.
It's a masterpiece.
Wow, so dynamic.
Trust me on this. This engine is the #1 reason to buy this car. And you know what I like about it is that you don't have to pay extra to get the inline 6-cylinder. Mercedes-Benz GLE, they put a 4-cylinder turbo in.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Nope.
And this engine, in my opinion, does have more power than the base Porsche Cayenne. Now, we're talking base engine to base car, right?
That's right.
Like, of course, Cayenne S all day.
Yes.
But
which is what we reviewed, was the Cayenne S Coupe. And there's a big difference, but it's the S.
This is a very dynamic vehicle. It's got great handling. It's got all the different settings for the suspension, for the engine, the transmission. The 8-speed automatic is really good. Yeah. They've done a really good job with this car. I stand behind that. If I was buying just the base model Cayenne and the base model X5, I would take this.
Yeah.
And I like the interior better
than the Cayenne.
I don't like the new Cayenne interior as much as I like this.
Okay, so I love the interior of the Cayenne.
Yeah, but I like our Cayenne better.
Yeah, well, ours has all the buttons, but that's gone. That's long gone, Zach. You got to get over that stuff.
That's why we're not selling it.
I love this engine as well. I think that there is some sophistication when you're taking corners. It just has so much poise.
Okay,
I don't know how to describe it. It's so smooth.
Taking a corner.
Even when you go over bumps.
Yeah, it's good. They did a good job.
Really great. So we're very happy with this. I think I'd still go with the Porsche Cayenne, but I think this would be a very close second for me.
It's the same at Mercedes-Benz, it's the same at Porsche, and it's the same at BMW. You want stuff, it's all in a package. So how much does this thing cost, Andrea? Let's do a price pause.
The X5 xDrive 40i starts at $77,500, and as tested, we're coming in just over $91,000. While we're at it, let's get into fuel economy. The X5 gets 11.7 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 9.1 on the highway, and 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined. The towing capacity is up to 7,200 pounds.
So Andrea and I, we've owned 5 BMWs. The last car we owned was an X5 actually, and we moved on to Porsche, which we love, and you can get that at Portfolio too. But you know, would this vehicle bring you back into the BMW fold?
It sure would, and I have to say BMW is actually quite good to us. We didn't have any trouble with any of our vehicles except for one. Which I remember well. But anyway, overall it was like pretty good.
Hello, I don't want this car anymore. It won't start. Get rid of it. I never want to see it again.
How would you like it with 2 small children and you're going somewhere fun and your car won't start? Trust me, they don't take it well.
Yeah, the car was gone. The X5 arrived the next day.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you to Portfolio by Open Road for lending us this X5. If you're in the Vancouver area, download their app and check them out.
And I gotta say, Andrea, I think based on the engine alone, this car is fantastic. I love the inline 6-cylinder turbo. Give it a shot. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.